was interesting. Shooter Breeze topic number 2 says, FBA, hashtag FBA, gets white approval. This comes with 2 links. Let me tee up the first one, make sure you guys can see it. Yes, the first one involves one Tucker Carlson. If you've seen this video, drop a 1 for me in the chat. Let me know that you've seen it. Drop a 2 if you've seen it on the Discord.
You're racist for that?
They did. Which is actually quite interesting because I got a call from the Foundational Black American Society here in Florida who reminded me that Byron's mother is Jamaican, he is Panamanian, and they found it quite insulting in their words that he would try to claim victimhood of slavery without a single descendant of American slaves in his family.
I like those foundational guys.
They're so good.
Tariq Nasheed and all. I mean, I don't agree with everything, but like they've got a perspective. If your family's been here 400 years and the descendants of a lot of American slaves or families have been here 400 years, I don't know. I think that gives, I'll listen to you. Like you've
100%.
got, you've got a point of view that is legitimate, I think.
Yeah. And they're unequivocally heritage Americans.
That's for sure.
100%.
They're definitely heritage Americans, if anyone is. And, someone rolls in from Ghana and gets an MSNBC slot and starts speaking on behalf of black people. It's like, shut up, honey. You've got nothing to do with this.
Right.
That's
Literally.
a fair perspective,
right.
I think.
And so it's good to actually see them call them out for that. That's actually cultural appropriation. Appropriating the struggle of slavery.
I totally agree.
And the struggle of slavery was real. I don't think Republicans ever want to really whitewash that. It's real, no. Right? But for
we're
Byron,
against slavery.
We're against it.
Whether it's in the, West Bank or here or anywhere.
Or anywhere.
Yeah, against it.
And so for Byron's group, his team, to call me and essentially our entire supporting base racists for saying that you're a slave when quite literally you took $45 million. You won't tell us what you agreed to take that money this early in a primary, which is unprecedented. You know this, how unprecedented that kind of money is in an uncontested primary until now. But secondarily, to actually go out and try to gaslight us and think that you're just one of those guys that has been here, since the early 1800s and your family was in the struggle too. You're not. And that's a very interesting term that the Foundational Black Americans use. It's called tether. They're tethering these tethers like Byron Donalds. They come here literally 1 generation in, and they try to just sit around and act so folksy that we're all part of the same struggle and we're all down on and we need to fight against. No, you just got here, dude. Like the Haitians, like the guys from Ghana who just got here, you don't get to just be a part of our system and then lecture us about how our country went wrong.
And they called you a racist for that?
They did. Which is actually quite interesting because I got a call from the Foundational Black American Society here in Florida.
Very interesting. When I saw this, I saw it after last week's episode of Shoot the Breeze. And when I saw it, I saw actual black folks, FBA, saying things like, hell yeah, I support this white man. And I'm proud to do it. I saw that last week. I was trying to find it today and I couldn't in the time that I had. But this is insane. And FBA types are loving it. They are loving it. Now, I saw Professor Black Truth or whatever. Yeah, I think that's his name. I saw him try to switch it around. I saw that this evening. He tried to switch it around and make it seem like, no, we don't trust Tucker Carlson, but we know that you tethers are going to hate it, so we're going along with it, which is just complete nonsense. By the way, this guy who Tucker Carlson is talking to, he's an immigrant, by the way. With that said, man, let me welcome in Kofi. I know once I said hashtag FBA, Kofi was going to show up. Kofi, how are you this week?
I'm doing well. Yeah, you heard the dog whistle. I was listening the whole time. I'm just taking some time out right now. I'm speaking. You hear me? I'm muted?
No, I can hear you just fine.
I can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you. No, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna try to get it in because I got 2 things going on right now. I'm glad you picked me first, but peace to the panel, peace to you, Koku. I saw this and it is basically It's sad. So when you have these guys that say no, it's about lineage, our delineation is pretty much about us trying to be our own different types of black people. We're not just one, you know, big black Negro or whatever. There's different types of black people. We want to do that. It's not about us hating on the diaspora. It's not us hating the Caribbean. It's not about us hating the Africans. It's us being about us. But here they are again, and they're supposed to be so-called independent. They don't care about any party as long as they get reparations. Remember, the goal is reparations. But here they are, like you said, Koku, cheering this on. Tucker Carlson, which is a Vietnamese racist person on the right. Now it's not about partisanship, right? And again, they say, oh, a tether is someone who wants to undermine you. So they say Byron Donald is undermining them. Now, these two assholes, this is the dynamic. Now, Fishback wants to get Byron Donald's position in Florida. They're in the same party. Byron Donald, by a long shot, is not a Democrat. He's not a liberal in the sense. He's your typical black Republican shucking and jiving, carrying water for white racists by any means necessary with his white wife. His makeup is my wife's makeup, Jamaican Panamanian, right? So when he's trying to say that, well, he has no history ties. So the thing that Byron Donald says, even when I go on other shows that I go on, you know, you got these Negroes, they want to defend that. When Byron Donald says, hey, during Jim Crow, the black family were together. And you got the quote unquote people that are independent, Negroes that say they're independent. They say, well, I don't see what that means. He's not saying Jim Crow was good. So why would you mention during the time of Jim Crow? You're trying to, you're signaling, right? You're dog whistling the right to your racist base that, you know, before black people had rights, it was good. But I'm only mentioning that to say is that if we do a little bit of history, these FBA goons think that black people only came here during the civil rights era. So Garvey wasn't here and there weren't any Jamaicans here at all. What I find what Byron Donald says is racist, but by Fishback or Fish Ass is talking, he sounds just like a FBA. Saying, well, he just got here, he has no ties here. I don't know how far back Byron Donald's family goes back to the Americas. Could have been at the beginning of the 19th century. I have family here that came here in the 40s. You know, in the 40s, my great grandmother that I knew was here before most of my family that was here. So they were here. So you have people that goes way back, but they're trying to say this is a flex. Like this, they've made it. They finally made it. Here we have someone mentioning our cult group online into the limelight now. And it's by racists, but who cares? That's why I'm saying before this, FBA is dead on arrival. It stands to me, this foundational black Anglo-Saxons, because they want nothing to do with black people, but they have no problem with this Fishback person, which is Cuban. He's first generation immigrant. He is also a tether. I think one of his parents is white because Fishback is not a Latino name, right? So same thing with Tucker. Tucker Carlson, he's kind of old money, right? But it's sad to see what we're saying, what I was saying, especially is coming to fruition, just because I'm saying you're a hate group. So anyone that coincides with your hate, you're gonna back them. And the fact that they're with one of the most notorious, the most notorious racist party to this day to do that is crazy. And I land my plane right here. So they're so happy that they're being mentioned for a white man to pat them on the head to give them recognition. Fish Ass is running for Byron Donald's position. Even though him and Tucker Carlson, they pom-pom waving for them and stuff like that, these niggas don't understand they're being used as political props. All they care about is them dumping on Caribbean. Now, he didn't say anything that he's going to do anything for Black Americans. Not one thing. He didn't say he's going to do anything for them. But it doesn't matter. They don't care. And that's the sad part. But I took up too much time. I got to get back to something, but I will listen. I'm curious to hear what everybody else says. Thank you.
Appreciate that, Kofi. Yeah, no, good stuff. And by the way, when Kofi says, these black folks, he doesn't mean all black Americans. He's talking about the ones who, in this case, specifically identify as FBA. By the way, I forgot to mention this second attachment here. This was a tweet by Jempo, who says, be aware that the dude speaking across from Tucker is running on white genocide and the great replacement theory. He may be a wolf in sheep's clothing. Someone with an American flag comes along and says, even a broke clock is right twice a day. The guy comes back, Jempo, and says, right, but we can't be blindsided by the grift. So, again, it's not all black Americans, but it's definitely those who identify as FBA are really, really hyped that they've been recognized by these white guys. By the way, too, Tariq Nasheed has a history with Tucker Carlson. Tucker clowned him. I should have pulled that video, too. Tucker clowned him on his show a couple years ago. So keep that in mind. Oh, and by the way, when Tucker says I agree with not everything, but a lot of the FBA stuff, you want to bet that the thing that he doesn't agree with is reparations. Let me hear from Black Steel on this next. Black Steel, what say you?
Well. I saw this video. I commented on the Discord. If your enemy is co-signing what you do, you got a big problem, right? When you got racists out here like Tucker Carlson co-signing your movement, yeah, you got an issue here. You definitely got an issue in this scenario, right? So I've always said I don't even like to say their name. I don't even like to conjure them up. These foundational Americans, and they so love to be called, right? Because it's a very active online movement, right? They're like Beyonce fans, or they whenever you say something bad about them, they pop up out of nowhere. But I've always disliked this whole thing because, first of all, Tariq Nasheed, who is Tariq Nasheed, right? Why are we giving Tariq Nasheed any type of relevance in our community? Who is this guy, right? He's a former pimp, he made some self-help books, he's just flip-flops. Who is he? I heard about all this stuff. His hidden history museum got turned into a nightclub, then it got shut down. I don't know all the details about it, but just this whole FBA agents thing just bothers me. Oh, and they're a very small but very vocal minority, because you gotta read the room, right? We're in a renaissance of white supremacy in this country, especially the United States, right? We're in a renaissance of white supremacy. You got the president of the United States coming online and saying that the civil rights movement hurt white people. So the fact that you coming after black people from other countries, like the statement about, oh, he has no experience with slavery. Like as if slavery wasn't on Jamaica, right? As if the slavery in the Caribbean was so harsh that slaves in America were afraid to go there. Like if you were a slave who misbehaved, they would send you to Barbados. This as if they don't have any experience of slavery by the English, right? So the Great Britain brought slaves over to the Americas, right? So slavery in Jamaica was started by Great Britain, just like slavery in America was started by Great Britain. What do you mean they don't have the experience of slavery? I don't understand what he means. As if slavery as it existed in the context of the United States was just so alien to every other form of slavery. It's a ridiculous statement, right? But that's why most people don't really rock with these clowns, right? Now, they're worried about survival. First, they're talking about reparations, which you definitely ain't finna get reparations under the Trump administration. So now they've changed their messaging, right? Now it's about survival. But they still have more smoke, more hatred for another black person from another country whose ancestors got off the boat a little bit further from your ancestors. And really it's meant to be counterintelligence, right? The fear of black people organizing and uniting with other Africans across the world has always been a major threat to U.S. hegemony, right? So they've often done many things to dissuade black people and Africans or black people in the Caribbean from linking up. That was a big problem. It's always been a big problem. So the fact that they're going so hard at other black people, they got a name for them. But I don't know if you saw Corey Holcomb talking to Anton Daniels. They never have smoke for these white people. They always want to go after other Africans. So at this point, I can only deduce they are anti-African, anti-black hate group, much as what Kofi said. So that's just my thoughts. And the fact that they're applauding this just further confirms that in my mind. They're an anti-black hate group. I'll yield the mic. Thank you.
Can I also mention that they're so right wing. All the talking points that the Republican Party makes, just like MAGA, they'll ignore it because what MAGA's main goal is for Donald Trump, which is also an anchor baby, is to have a white ethno state, is to make sure that white people get a leg up. Like JD Vance says, he says no longer anymore in America where you have to apologize for being white. So they have the same ideology, just when it comes to, again, like Koku said, I'm not talking about all black Americans, of course not. This is a subset of low intellectual, emotional people that is a very loud minority, right? So they have the same ideology. Oh, you're undermining us because if it wasn't for us, you wouldn't be here. If you leave and we get rid of you, then there'll be more opportunities for us because you look like us. The white man's gonna pass you up and forget us. We were already here, right? So they still have this instead of a white replacement theory, they have what would you call it? Indigenous black replacement theory. And I would say to them the same thing I would say to a white person that's saying that Mexicans and Asians are taking their jobs. Who are giving them those jobs? Those white people. It's not a Mexican or a Haitian or a Jamaican that got these jobs and giving it to minorities. It's white people that wants cheap labor because the average American is not going to work for that amount. So this is a capitalist society. So the thing is, for capitalists, is to maximize profit. So I can maximize my profit by giving someone to do the same job, if not better, to give me the same work, give me the same output. That's capitalism. You guys rant and rave about capitalism all the time. But I just also want to mention that it all doesn't make sense to you. They have the same ideology as a MAGA Republican.
Appreciate that, Kofi. Let's welcome in our brother, Real Black Gentleman, this week. Real Black Gentleman, how are you?
I'm good. I'm about to play a little devil's advocate here. I know you guys don't have a strong, like for the FBA. I being within the sense of it, you know what I'm saying? I get it. Look, I'm just gonna make a couple just quick points. Black people as in America, as we've been in this country, separated from Africa, mind you. You know what I'm saying? Which is the first thing. Naturally, we've been separated, and the ocean is not a small barrier, right? If it were easy to go back to Africa, we would have depopulated ourselves from this country already. You know what I'm saying? The fact that Africans are still in America for 400 years means there's a couple reasons why that's the case. One, trying to make the best out of the land while we're here. It's different. And it's hard to get people just to like give up this land. You know what I'm saying? As Black people, as a Black American, I don't want to necessarily feel like I have to be compelled to leave and go back to Africa. If I see myself as instead of an enslaved, kidnapped person, but I find myself in a colonial sense of Africa, how would that be? How would that be? Seen as a negative. You know what I'm saying? I know that Black people here in this country have fallen into traps of North and South, East and West. Straight. I don't want to say straight because that's not what I'm trying to say. But like street and book. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of that in this country. As I see, Black people will play a dichotomy game of us and them, even within ourselves in this country. I see it and I know it. Anything I think that would cut away from that, even if it's just an online thing, I think it's plus. I will say that there's a lot of like bottish activity that is clinging on to the online efforts of Black people in the FBA thing. I'm gonna say that. There's a lot of bots that don't like Black unity in any sense. You know what I'm saying? Even in America, within African nations, they love to see a civil war in the African nations, right? Okay, having said that, then there's a lot of that. And so as much as I know a lot of that, and a lot of what we see online, the commentary, hey, I'll say it, you know what I'm saying? You can't trust the commentary. You got to make sure that has to be like triple authenticated, you know what I'm saying? Because like a person on their video can say something, then you'll have 1,000 comments that are personifying, situations and casting aspersions on people. So I will say that because I think that's overlooked. You can't go everything off of, words and text. You do have to have more context to it. I do know that, Tariq, he does go from one thing to another. I mean, that's his thing. He's a bit of an entertainer. He's trying to like get as many people eyeballs on him as possible. I get it. But as far as like the idea that if we could, if Black people do kind of start over and just calling it what you will, I mean, the label foundational. I mean, you can say a lot of things. I mean, people, it's catchy. It's getting people. I will say that as long as there's a lot of roasting going on. I think the roasting, again, that's an African tradition. We roast each other. You know what I'm saying? Written in the ancient Mali Constitution now, in law, that we're going to roast each other. I think that when we talk about the roasts, again, it's people talking, it's souls talking, and then it's computations that are approximate what they will want you to think about a person. I'm going to say that. I know it's some nonsense with FBA. I know that some people do take it too far. But if we're going to be a nation within a nation, as Black people in this country, it does behoove us to have some sense of like a pride about what it is that we're here, because Lord knows, if we could just walk across the bridge to Africa, we would have depopulated this place already. And then probably just to have the means to go right back. But that ocean's a very, 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 very big river. And because, just knowing, it's just pride and effort in what people do. Even though it's, under the shadow of white people, Black people invented this country. I'm sorry, but we did to this exceptional degree. And I know that, people do things in a lot of places. I mean, a lot of inventions have come here, probably from Black people and other. We've done so much here. That's why I say got to be the devil's advocate. I know, but I'm trying to figure out who's doing the hating and why. And I don't see, I'm not convinced it's us doing some of the extra stuff on the internet. I don't think it's Black Americans. Some, we roast Black people, do some stuff, but I find Tariq has a touch more balance than people give him credit for. Even though I don't give him that much credence, because he's just trying to be entertainer. Even if he's trying to, bring up history and trying to put a little spin on it, it is what it is. I'm not gonna, cry. People have given him $1,000. I haven't given Tariq a dime. I've given them $0.00. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not, I'm not going to be so, and he knows it's not about him. He said it many times. That's the whole point. If something happens to Tariq and, he moves to another country or another place or whatever, FBA is not going to necessarily just go away. He's saying that he says that a lot on purpose. It's not about a leader. It's a lineage. It's the idea that, and what that, it's a sense of rooting ourselves in a place in time. And that's not to exclude Africa. It's just the nature of the ocean being a huge barrier. And Lord knows if we could pack up our households wholesale, we would do so. I've said that 3 times. I'm gonna pass the mic.
Can I respond to that? I would really love to respond to that.
No, you're gonna have to wait, Kofi. You're gonna have to wait. I've been waiting a long time.
All right, bro.
You can just
Real quick. I just want to say to RBG, you can be the devil's advocate anytime you want to be. And I really do mean that, because this is not intended to be an echo chamber. Sometimes I want to hear a different thought, even an opposing one. The only thing I ask is that they don't be anti-Black, anti-African, anti-Pan-African. But if it's a differing opinion, I respect that, and I like a lot of the things that you said. You made points about it could be our enemy playing it up as well. That's true. And we have to be mindful of it. Both sides, or all sides, have to be mindful. So I do appreciate that. Let's go to Brother Bakari, and then I'll hit Kofi quick, and then we'll introduce our most recent panelists. Brother Bakari, what say you?
First, I want to say, I'm talking about everybody that just called themselves a Black American, erasing Africa out their name. I'm talking about all of them. I'm not going to sit here and say, well, it's not all of them. It's all of them. It's all of them. It's all of them that only want to be a Black American. They all the same to me. I'm a Black American. They're all the same to me. But it was something that Black Steel had said, and I ain't write it down. But as he was talking, it just showed that Black Steel had the ability to think. When he said about, if those white people are co-signing you, that's a problem. That just shows he has the ability to think. But these other people, they're so happy. Their thinking is they want to be white adjacent. White adjacent. They know they can't be white. They want to be white adjacent. So when they're talking about Byron Donalds, and they say, well, he have no history here of slavery in America. I don't know what he had, in all honesty. And neither do they. Do we know how many Africans they brought from the Caribbean to here? And so I don't know if any of his ancestors came here and was enslaved here. And neither do they. But it sounds good, though. His mama is Jamaican, his daddy Jamaican, his mama Panamanian. Right? It sounds good for them. So as for me, I would never talk about, well, this is ours. We've been there 400 years. If it's yours, stop complaining about it. If it's yours, take it. If it's yours, do something about it. If it's yours, be smart enough to build up some numbers so you can do something about it. I'm not going to ever, and I understand RBG say he playing the devil's advocate. I ain't going to play the devil's advocate. I'm just going to be who I am. So if it's theirs and they have such a connection to being at the bottom, because that's what they're doing. It's plantation fighting. It's plantation fighting. Which one is better? Which slave owner was the best? And these slave owners over here, they treated us good. Like I know where I'm from. I was born and raised in Mississippi, but I also know where my ancestors from. I can also tell you, I know my great grandmama was born in a slavery here in Mobile, Alabama in 1853. I can also tell you her mama was born on the continent of Africa. So for me to just say, oh, I'm just this American because I know we have been here so long. For me, I can't go that route. And then when you hear a white boy call them heritage American, the definition of heritage, the first one, property that is or may be inherited, and inheritance. So what are they doing? They have inherited their FBA, their Black Americans, to try to side with people who you truly don't have the same number of nothing that they have. You truly don't have the money that they have. That's why I've heard some of these people talk about the founding fathers. Like, not my founding fathers. They're not my founding fathers. FBA say they are lineage. I know people pronounce it lineage. I say lineage because that's how I spell. It's just for the hell of it. They say they're about lineage, but now they're happy to be called by some white boy, some white boy that hate black folks. They're happy to be called a heritage American, which is absolutely insane to me. But when you're fighting to be next to white people, because when they talk about other black people, you can hear the white arrogance exuding from them. When you hear them talk about other black people, you can hear their arrogance, their white arrogance, to show they are better than other black people. Similar to like people from up north and down south used to have a beef. They might still have it. People from up north thought they was better than people from down south. Well, y'all go through this down south, y'all go through that down south. It ain't like that up here. Yeah, it was just a little different. They taught y'all to kill yourselves, put you in projects. Y'all became the the human rat project, right? But it's the same type of beef. It's the same type of disdain, dislike that we have for one another. So these people that call themselves FBA, they dislike black people from other places, and they can have that. So these people that just only a black American, they can have that. I just understand what side I'm on, and I understand what side they're on. And I know me and those people, we are not on the same side just because they look like me. And it's just that simple. On that, I yield the mic.
Appreciate that, brother Bakari. Let me go back to Kofi. Kofi wanted to respond to RBG. RBG, I realized from the chat there's a certain part of this you didn't touch on. I'm going to come back to you for that. But let's hear from Kofi. Before we hear from Kofi, though, I can't pronounce the username, but AK in the chat says FBA equals FBI / Cointel 2.0. Tariq is a paid actor. Grow up. Then he or she follows it up with, "We African Americans, get over it, morons." Shaking my head. So I'm curious, who's that directed to exactly? Because it reads like it's directed to the panel, but none of the panelists are really going along with the FBA stuff. So I'm just curious, who's all that for? Also for FBAs who might be viewing the video themselves. With that said, Kofi, what say you?
Also, I forgot also to mention that, Tariq does know Tucker. Tucker does not know Tariq. Just Googling Tucker Carlson interviews Tariq Nasheed. They at least interviewed each other 2 times. So Tucker Carlson's not talking about Tariq and abstract, like, yeah, that guy that you just told me about, Fishback. What Tucker Carlson knows who Tariq Nasheed is. So I just want to say that. I love Devil's Advocate. I love playing Devil's Advocate. And I say this with the utmost respect to the brother that played Devil's Advocate. It's obvious. From what I'm getting from you is that you're not very acquainted with this FBA movement at all. And a lot of things you touched on, you weren't really quite sure. A lot of things you said, it just tells me you don't know what's going on. So first thing I'm going to say before I get into FBA stuff, you said there's a big, huge ocean apart from us, and we just can't pack up our stuff and did that. That has been done in history. There's this place in Africa called Liberia, right? They have people going there, place called Liberia. There are African Americans in Liberia. During the Great Migration, you had African Americans going all the way as north as Canada, all the way south as Florida, and further. So when Black people want to move somewhere, we can move. We don't let no ocean, swamp, forest, or anything keep us in the way. Right? But I do understand what you mean by saying, hey, it's not as accessible. So that's one. Two, it's not a lineage. It has nothing about lineage. You're kind of giving grace to Tariq Nasheed and the people saying that is bots. I have followed this thing. I used to follow Tariq Nasheed, and when he was either pretending or was a Pan-Africanist. You have to understand, FBA is a child of ADOS. ADOS was started by Yvette Carnell. Yvette Carnell was on a board with a man named John Tanton. John Tanton was a right-wing white supremacist that was trying to stop Black and brown immigration from coming into America, aka that's what the Republicans are. They want a white ethno state. Yvette Carnell, all the talking points you hear about Tariq Nasheed, it is not roasting, brother. Roasting is like, I grew up here in New York. Koku, you know how New Yorkers are. There's all different types of Black people. I grew up, I had Black American friends, I had Haitian friends, I had Jamaican friends, I had Guyanese friends. We all will crack on each other. What Tariq Nasheed is doing is racist. The same thing white people used to say to disparage Black Americans, like calling you monkey, calling you live in a hut, doing all this other stuff. Brother, that's not roasting. That is racism. And it's coming from Black people. People say, well, that's xenophobia. Nah, you're doing a white man's playbook. That is racism. So back to what I was saying. Yvette Carnell had the same talking points with Tariq Nasheed, saying they're not like us. Pointing to Kendrick Lamar. They're different. They're this. They're here to undermine us. They're great. They're going to replace us. Tariq Nasheed is just a little bit more charismatic, has a bigger audience. He did the same thing, but better. FBA is nothing but a white supremacist psyop think tank. And what it does, it plays on simple-minded people or people who do not understand what it is. What he is basically doing, Black people in America has a legitimate gripe against the United States government. All Tariq Nasheed just take that fact that's known across the board, that surpasses color, gender, and class, takes that pain and tells you that the reason why that you not getting what you get, let's ignore the white man with all those cookies. That immigrant with the one cookie, with the one cookie you want to get your 6 cookies. He's getting crumbs. That's what it's all about, and it devolves into what it is right now with the whole Tucker Carlson thing right now. I know people specifically on my Facebook channel. Look, FBA has been going around for like a couple of years. On my Facebook, I have a group in my Facebook. I have on my channel. People legit, you see their faces. Most of them are cowards, don't even show their faces. But these are people that show their faces and they actually believe that it has to do with lineage. It has nothing to do with lineage because, as we know, there was a slave trade within the Americas. So when they say, well, we're 100% Black American, what is that? That makes no sense. So I'm just saying that to say I think you need to do a little bit more digging. I'm going to plug my channel, even go to my channel, and you'll see the hypocrisy that they have. And he said it's not a leader. Tariq said it's not a leader because he doesn't want any accountability. Everything they're saying, you're right, there are bots. Whatever Tariq Nasheed says, his followers say the same thing. Tariq Nasheed has been caught, like, He's trying to say that I'm not as black as a black American. This dude has a white woman living in his house. His mother-in-law is a white Jewish woman, and he doesn't even like black women. In his Mac lessons, he says, if you're going to get a black woman, make sure she's mixed and make sure that the mother is white, because you want that mother to put all the, how she raised, instill in her. He it's bad if you want a mixed woman, right? But he don't want her mother to be black. The mother has to be white. And Tariq Nasheed fulfilled that. He has a white mother-in-law and a mixed kid. But me, with my black Jamaican wife and my black ass self, I'm not as black as that. But brother, I just want to say you need to do a little bit more research.
All right, quick rebuttal. Just quick, like just a not to rebut. I'm not even trying to like reject what you said. Okay. I was watching a lot of this ADOS transition to FBA thing. I actually watched when that shit happened. I was keen on that. Okay, I actually watched Yvette Cornell. I was listening to Tone Talks. I was watching that, and I saw that transition. I saw when things started to trip up. When but like I said, I'm just gonna be quick. I know about the PSYOP. I know about the foundations. I know all that. What I think, though, is that in light of all that, it's important. Before we got into the one point I want to make, and I'm gonna drop. Before it really did get into the xenophobia came in, it legitimately was about the freedmen, the whole knowing the identity, the censusing, the figuring out the roots and figuring out the realization that, because again, a lot of these white people came into this country after black people. I know Tariq. I get all that about his people. I get that. I know he's conflicted. I get that. I do. I do think that there's a kernel of truth in the whole thing. I'm talking to people who are not Americans. Look. I talk about Africa all the. I wish I could. Bruh. I do know that a sense of the, when you talk about that migration, the scattering of black people, this has to be just a little bit more like, where do we come from and how do we get here? It's kind of a moment. That's just me. I don't like ride with FBA all like that. I recognize it. I know it's a lot of bullshit in there too. I do. I just, you know what I'm saying, take the chaff and separate that shit from the wheat. Because I know even in Tariq's conflicted heart, he got a love for black people for what it's worth. Even though obviously he says all this stuff. I'm just saying. Now, you can call it spiritual if you want. I don't go out here and use FBA as an excuse to attack immigrants or people who are in this country who have descendantry from another land. Because Lord knows my land, you know what I'm saying? My people have a descendantry from another land. Obviously, I'm probably like 85-90% African. You know what I'm saying? It's all because it just happens. I would love to know that was 100%. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just the whole being here and living and scrapping it out. Call it politicking or what have you. You know what I'm saying? They ain't overrun the hood quite yet. They don't do that shit too easily. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying, like, for anything that can at least get black people in this country, as long as black people are not attacking heavily, when that comes, it is what it is. You look. And I'm not saying it should ever get to that point. We got to talk this shit out, make sense out everything. Because again, as living where I am, customs, passport, I just can't go to Zimbabwe and just, the reciprocity, it truly is different when you come from any other country to any other country. Until there's a true political pan-Africanness, I'm telling you, like African nations are locked in an African nation state, and they are not trying to work with each other because men are men. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna pass the mic.
Hey, can I respond to some of that? Can I say something right quick? I ain't gonna be here long because I got to get out. See, and I know Koku say he don't like her. What is it called? People just saying the same thing, right? Everybody agreeing. I don't think you can't build nothing. You can't build nothing when people not agreeing. RBG has drunk the Kool-Aid, right? And this is me. I ain't telling nobody to feel like me. I hear RBG. I understand he ain't on my team. I understand he's on Team Tariq. I understand he's on Team FBA. I understand he talking about it's a lineage, and he said a whole lot of stuff trying to give them grace. That don't mean I dislike him. I just understand that those people are not on my team. And that's okay. Everybody had a team that they gonna be on. And that is okay. I have a nephew the same way. He know, he'll tell you. Now, my uncle, man, he ain't feeling that. We ain't on the same team. We're not on the same team. We gotta think about this. They are following a high school dropout. No, nothing political about him. He have no connections in politics, but that's what these people are choosing to follow, saying, yeah, he gonna get them. And watch this. When was the last time you heard them talk about reparations? Only thing they just talk about is other black people. That's it. So if it's their country, like they'll say, the indigenous or whoever the hell they want to be, because the ocean is too wide for you to even to understand where you come from. The ocean, we can say the ocean is too wide to go if that's what you want to say. But I always talk about this guy. I just call him the Prince of Slaves because I can't never remember his name. But you can see what else people from Natchez, Mississippi, and Liberia go.
Equiano.
No, not Equiano. That's not him. That's not him. I'm talking the Prince of Slaves, a guy that was enslaved in Mississippi. He was a Muslim guy. But you can see people from Natchez, Mississippi, and going to Liberia back and forth all the damn time for family reunions and every damn thing. Cross that wide ass ocean. They going, they visiting, and they doing that to this day. But he had drunk the Kool-Aid, and that is okay. Maybe he like it. But FBA, FBA and ADOS, they are a hate group for black people. That's what they are. They get on the immigrant. You watch this. Do you ever hear them talk about the Russian immigrants? Do you ever hear them talk about the Irish immigrants? Do you ever hear them talk about the British immigrants? And if you get on, and I know when people ride by construction sites, you see a lot of Mexicans. But go to those construction sites, and I'm here in Atlanta. Go look and see how many Russians and British and Irish and Scottish immigrants you see. These people never say anything about the European immigrants because they just like Donald Trump. They want the good immigrants from Norway and Sweden and Denmark and places like that to come here. They don't want them from these shithole countries. So when I can't be on the side with nobody who they clearly show disdain for African people, from black people from other places. My grandson is Haitian on his mama's side. My kids is Trini. My two youngest kids, they Trini on their mama's side. So I can't be on the side of nobody. But that ain't the only reason. I'm just saying how I don't see a difference in African blood people. You know, you come here, we cool until you show me that you're not cool. Until you show me that we shouldn't be on the same side. Like the FBA code, they have showed me that we ain't on the same side. You're the mic.
Let's hear from Sister Cheryl. Sister Cheryl, how are you this week?
Yeah, I'm good. How are y'all doing?
Good, good, good. Sister Cheryl, I know you've heard a lot and seen a few comments from the chat. So there's a lot for you to respond to. So take your time. Tell us your thoughts on this.
So the prompt was about like white people bringing up FBA or it being a part of their mainstream news now.
FBA was co-signed by white people.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that kind of lit a fire under the FBA's behind. And for people who don't know, I'm African American. Um, so it's just like I think like I agree with the majority of what people are saying about the FBI. FBI. Sorry, see, slip of the tongue. FBA, but hey, they might be involved with the FBI. You never know. Uh, um, I do pretty much agree with what the majority of people are saying, and I can also see the one guy. I'm not sure his name, but he said something about taking it a little easy on Tariq. But it's so much that was said. I want to start with the Tucker Carlson thing. Um, bringing up FBA. I know that kind of stoke some fires under the FBA's behind. But the reason white people don't bring attention to Black issues unless they feel comfortable doing so. So if they feel comfortable, then that must mean that they don't feel threatened. And they don't feel threatened by you, then that's why they can co-sign it. And then Tucker Carlson was just like, um, you know, maybe, Black people in America, yeah, they do have a point. They have been here longer, and they do have more rights to the land. So they do have a point. And the whole time he was saying it, he was laughing and chuckling. And I don't think most people caught that are for this whole thing. But that's a very strong indicator that not only does he not feel threatened, it's a means of they brought it up because they know it's going to further the division even more. If you bring in something like that to mainstream media and you got people that's on the fence about what they believe, that's pretty much for people who are not like really paying attention to what's being said and how it's being said. That's pretty much solidifying that they should do the FBA thing. Um, and so body language is important. They're white people's little gestures. Like I got white, I swear to God, like maybe I don't, but I feel like I got white people down to a science when it comes to their little movements and the things they be saying. It's they say a lot without saying it. Like, and a lot of people don't pick it up. So I just feel like I know white people. Like I know how they get down. I know how they think. So with that said, was it something else I wanted to bring up? Oh, Black people calling themselves. I think some people that join the FBA thing, they are seriously trying to find something to cling on to that's not white. But in that process, they kind of lose themselves with people like Tariq. Yeah, Tariq is very influential, but you got other people out there too. But Tariq is the most influential. But he does things that are very condescending to African people. And sometimes I find myself watching him, but it's not for the reasons people think. Like I watch him to pay attention to the things that he says and how he says them. And yes, he does sound a lot like white people making fun of and critiquing African people. He does sound a lot like that. While he may make some sense, his analysis of white people sometimes is good, but in that same vein, he's like he sounds like a white person. So I think that's one of the things that would confuse somebody who is not decided on where they stand. And so what I think you have is a lot of confused people. And I'm a very patient person. And I have to be patient because I was never into the FBA thing, but I was confused at one point. And so I try to have an understanding of both sides. But that doesn't mean I agree with the FBA thing. I think it totally is a tool that uh, that those people use. Totally, it's definitely a tool without question. Um, but I think when you throw in a little of something that makes sense, and that's what Tariq is good at. He's really good at saying, okay, these are the things white people say. And this is what you got to look out for. The red flags, you got to look out for white people that say this. And when they say this is what they're actually saying. So in terms of that, okay, I give it to them, whatever. But in the long run, FBA is still tribalism, right? And it's tribalism based on, it's not tribalism based on politics or anything. It's tribalism based on specifically where you come from. And I think that's very dangerous because they have things like that on the continent. You know, that's not the reason, but it's part of the reason why you see so much disorganization on the continent. And it's just the same thing. It's the same thing here. You even have Black people who move to places like the UK, France, Italy, and forget the Black. They don't even use the Black. They just say, I'm Italian. I'm French. My husband and I were out. We were out with I was out with my in-laws when they came down to visit us, and we sat at a table, restaurant, and we saw these two women sat next to us, and we just making conversation, and they're like, "Oh, where are you from?" I mean, she's blacker than night. She like, we from France. I said, okay. I was just, I didn't, it's new people. I didn't want to say anything or anything like that. I'm just like, okay, okay. It's just like one of those things that it just kind of, for me, it catches me off guard. My husband is more used to dealing with that. But for me, hearing a Black person say, I'm French, that's crazy. Like a lot of people from the UK, sometimes they'll be like, okay, I'm Black Brit. At least they put the Black in front of it. Sometimes I gotta, because everyone's confused on a different level. So I give people some passes on stuff. So at least they put the Black in front of it. Some Black people don't even consider themselves, or they don't want to be reminded that they are from the continent. So you have different levels of this stuff. FBA is just another level. It's just another level of it, but it's definitely everywhere. Some people, oh, I'm British. Oh, I'm Italian. Like that's crazy. She didn't even look. This girl that was in the restaurant, she didn't even tell us. She didn't even say, "Oh, I'm from France." She didn't even say, "I'm from France." She didn't even say what her background is. She just was sedity, like, and she was just like, "I'm French," and that's what we're dealing with FBA. Um, and it's just another form of tribalism, y'all. It's just it's really it's not that deep. White people brought it up because they feel comfortable talking about it because it doesn't affect them. They can say, a white person can get on the news and say, oh, Black people definitely have uh, more rights to the land than a Black person that just came over. A Black person that just came over can't tell a Black American what they should be doing and blah, 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 blah. First of all, they saying you have more rights to the land, but are they going to give you those rights? And even if they gave you those rights, why would you want to accept that from them? You see what I'm saying? We don't think that far. We just think, oh, they brought us up. We must be important. Like we just get silly. So yeah, that's all I'll say.
I appreciate that. I want to throw it over to Real Black Gentleman last because I think he's getting some darts thrown at him a little bit while he's playing devil's advocate. I kind of feel I actually understand where RBG is coming from, but let me just check in with Black Steel. Black Steel, do you want to add anything? Because I haven't heard from you in a while.
Well, my mind's pretty much been made up. Like you said, I understand perspectives might be one to hurt, but I mean, I've heard what they said about African people. I've heard them call, the names they call other African people, and I've seen them ignore white people. So I mean, FBA has always been a garbage ideology, like you said, and like Kobe mentioned. It comes out the Progressive for American. I'm sorry, Progressive for Immigration Reform is the name of the group. Yvette Carnell was a part of, and we know these people. We know their works. We know the evil. they're capable of and the behavior they've been engaged in. And to be fair, they're not. This isn't the first time organization like the so-called Black people who want to cling to American identity. These people aren't the first ones to exist. They was doing this back in Garvey and Booker T. Washington and Du Bois days. So this is not anything new. Hell, I mean, there are Black people who talking about clinging to America back in the 19th century at the end of slavery. So, I mean, this isn't anything new. It's gonna pass like a fart in the wind. Thing about tokens get spent, right? These Black people who want to be, be all Yankee Doodle dandy, especially in these times. I'm sorry, man. It's ridiculous. America is showing every time they get a chance, they don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about what you're going on. There's a Black family just attacked by ICE in Texas. Now, mind you, this is an African American family, a foundational Black American family. They threw a tear gas grenade in the goddamn car with a 6-month-old baby in it. So there's no America ain't gonna give you reparations because they don't want to, and you can't make them. And the only way you can make them is through Pan African organization solidarity. That's it.
Appreciate that, Black Steel. RBG, do you want to say any last words here?
Yeah, look. This avatar on your picture, this man sent with fucking what's his name? Oh my god. The Major. Oh my god. He did it. He did it. He sent back people to Liberia. It was a boat called the Bark Azar. I get it. And what happened to that boat? You know what I'm saying? The British took it. I know about Liberia. I know about all of this. I get it. It's not, if it were easy, we would already be doing it. I'm telling you. I mean, look, the airports we would be talking about how them airports were booked for weeks, just trying to get Black people back to Africa. I'm telling you, it's not that easy. And since we're going to be African people here, Black people here in America, since we've been here, since, you know what I'm saying, we didn't get flown out from Africa. We got drug on a boat, and them boats took months to get out here because them white folks didn't know how to sail. I get it. I get it. I wish a motherfucker would try to tell me I ain't as Black as I fucking say I am, god damn it. But we here. And if you don't like how Black people do it here, as someone representing Black people here, I'm just saying. God, what's his name? He was a major, the goddamn captain, the goddamn, oh my God. Can't believe I can't remember his name. I'm going to look it up. I'm going to put it back in the goddamn chat. But I'm telling you, I get it. No, I get it. I get it. It's so easy to get Black people back. The boat had, 274 people? I think it was like 60 odd of them people died on the way there. This is in 1870, what was this? No, in the 1870s. It was 1878. I'm trying to tell you, the boat was called the Bark Azor. I'm gonna spell it out. It's called the Bark Azor. I'm telling you, that's all I'm gonna say about this whole FBA thing, man. I get it. Since we here and since, you know what I'm saying, I get it. How motherfuckers like the Talented 10th, Du Bois, you know what I'm saying, Sabotage, he ain't kind of Black, you know what I'm saying, fucking Booker T. Washington just trying to say, yo, you know what I'm saying, just pick it up by our goddamn where our buggets fall. You know what I'm saying? Garvey, Godson comes to America. Yo, let's get some business. Let's get these boats and try to go back home. Sabotage by the same. Let's go to school. I get it. Don't have me come out here confused. I'm done.
Oh, I just wanted to say something real quick, and then we can.
Yeah, go.
So yeah, like I don't want people to like. It's just so hard because being Black in America for as long as we've been here, it's definitely a unique experience compared to Black people, um, like living in, I don't know, Canada or somewhere where Black people just pretty much just got there. Like, so I get that we feel a sense of like we cling to like the term Black. Like, I'm not even talking about FBA. Forget that. Like the term Black American, because sometimes I think, like, I find this when I talk to people, Black people who are not from the continent or who are from the continent, and they say, "Oh, well, where are you from?" And I say, "Oh, I'm from Philly." And sometimes I catch myself and I'm like, "I'm Black American." Because that's just what it is. I'm Black and I'm an American. That signifies that pretty much that we've been here. When a person says I'm Black American, it just signifies that, we've been here for, a few centuries. And I think that kind of throws continental people off because they're just like, they're not taught that when they come over here. Like their children may be taught that, but the parents of the children, because they're first generation, they're not really they didn't get that history, they didn't get that lesson. So I think it's more of like a knee-jerk reaction for Black Americans to say, I'm Black American. Kanban has a different term, but it might take some time to get he says anti Black anti-American Black, or Black anti-American. I like that. I like that. But I think we need to have a little bit more understanding, like given the fact that Black people do have a very unique experience um, being in America. It's not like we're not first generation, second, third, fourth. We're not even 10th generation. We're like more like 50th generation, 60, 70, 80th generations. You see what I'm saying? Like, so I think the reins are so tighter for some than others when it comes to Black people. Like, I'll give you an example. So I lived in Houston for a while, and uh the first time I saw a Black person like wearing a cowboy hat, and they have a whole like thing dedicated to this. Like they think they're the original cowboys, and they think they're I forget what the event is called. If somebody can uh sign off on that. But it's this event where they get together, and it's like they um they celebrate, I guess, I'm a cowboy, I'm a real American type of thing. And I think a lot of people are like blindsided by that. Even I was, because I'm not from the South at all. Like, I'm like, what are these Black people wearing cowboy hats and cowboy boots? I was like, whoa, I thought this was a white person thing. So it's like they don't do that to shut out Africa. I don't think they do that to shut out African people from the continent or from the Caribbean. I think we just kind of fell in that mix. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, if you in proximity to white people, you're gonna have some white tendencies. Like, I think that's just what it is. I mean, Black people who are on the continent, Caribbean, they got white tendencies too, but it's different. It's different types. Like, so like I think we just need to be cognizant. Yes, so the trigger happy, yeah, African anti-American. That's pretty awesome. If we could replace that, even for me as an African American, I'm searching for a term because I find myself always saying like, yeah, I'm from Philly. And people just be like, "Oh, okay." And for people that's really confused, they be like, you definitely. I thought you was Jamaican." I said, "Hey, maybe so." I mean, I'm not gonna argue with you, like, cause I'm just that way. But for the majority of our people, we gotta be really cognizant. Like everybody that says they're Black American, it doesn't mean that they're not on our side. Some people are just really confused. Some people want to figure out what we can really do, and some people don't. Some people just want to be a rhinestone cowboy. Some people just like that, And but I think there's enough of us here in America where we can, we could probably push the African anti-American thing if we want to. Um, but yeah, I'll just leave it there.
Also want to add real quick. Thank you for that. This is my Pan Africanist. Standing up for me. Standing up for my people right now. Yeah, they do. Yeah, the black people to be with the white boy rodeo and stuff like that is crazy. But let's do remember, the first cowboys were black people. Cattle rustling is a dangerous job. And we know white people are bitches and pussies. They ain't gonna do it themselves. They're gonna find a black person to do it, they're gonna do it. So the first cowboys were black because white people are lazy and they gotta get black people to do their own jobs. But I want to say, as far as the whole FBA thing, I'm not against the idea. Now, FBA in its intensive purposes, what its goal was, I have absolutely no problem because the Caribbean people, we have CARICOM, right? They have Black Americans. I mean, there is a reparations board or whatever that's already on in the works. If you don't like it, you want to start something new. Yes, do that. It's going too slow. HR 40 is going too slow. Okay, fine. Get another chapter, but get a politician. Be genuine in what your goal is. CARICOM then it comes together by throwing people from Texas, Black Americans, under the bus. Well, we're just trying to get our check, so we gotta talk bad about those Black Americans and them Yankee boys up there up north. No one does that. So I think NBA is going to be not them, but something similar with the same moniker for the same goal. I think is going to be very effective. But FBA was dead on arrival because what group? Let's say for some crazy reason you got a Republican that hears this, he's going to use black people as this as a way to get votes. It's not going to get passed because it's a hate group. It's a hate group. You're going to get Congress. You're going to get the Senate. You're going to get the Republican. All these people. You're going to get all three houses. They're going to pull up tweets. They're going to pull up on Twitter Spaces, and it's like, you want us to give this group that is being racist towards Black and brown people. It's not going to happen. So I just wanted to mention that.
All right. Good discussion. I think we did a good job with that one, having a kind of well-rounded set of opinions. So I'm very happy with that discussion. Let's go to Shooter Breeze topic number 3 for time's sake. We're going to end around 11 p.m.